What up, guys? The Bench Buddies are back, and we're going to be picking our brackets today. Ty, you're going to go first here. But before you dive in, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Get us to 100 subscribers. As of right now, we're 9 away, and we'll be doing a huge giveaway, an autographed item. So make sure you hit that subscribe button. Ty, let's start it up here. We'll start in the West.
All right, we're starting in the West. I don't know how far I'm going here. I'm just going until Zach says to stop. Give me the Zags, obviously, over Georgia State. Not even a contest there. I'm going with Memphis over Boise State. Two very different teams, but got to go with the talent in Memphis. Upset alert, but I'm not picking either of them. I'm going with UConn scraping by, and I'm going with Arkansas scraping by. The Arkansas game makes me really nervous, but they're just, they have a lot of talent. I think they can get past it, like we saw with Oral Roberts last year. Another tough one here, but I'm going to go with Alabama. I don't have too much trust in Rutgers or Notre Dame, so I'm going with another favorite. And then obviously Texas Tech gets by Montana State. Michigan State could have trouble, but I'm still going to go with them just because of Tom Izzo, and they're not going to lose to Foster Lawyer in that revenge game. I think Michigan State moves on, and they'll play Duke in the second round. Might just go in the whole region here all the way. All right. So Gonzaga should get by Memphis. I think they will wipe the floor with Memphis. I just think Memphis will start getting rattled, and it's just going to be downhill from there. I actually think Arkansas beats UConn. A lot of people picking UConn there. I'm going with Arkansas. I think they play in a better conference, and they're better suited for that. I'm going with Texas Tech over Alabama. Alabama can't win 2 games in a row. And I'm going with Duke to just barely get past Michigan State. So I got a lot of chalk here so far. Gonzaga, Arkansas is an interesting game, but Gonzaga way too much size for Arkansas down low. So I'm going with them. And then Duke and Texas Tech. Duke has way more talent, but Texas Tech has the defense, and I think they match up really well. So I'm going with Texas Tech to get past Duke and end Coach K's career. And then Gonzaga, Texas Tech will be a great matchup. But again, the size for Gonzaga, the Twin Towers of Holmgren and Timmy, I'm going with Gonzaga to the Final Four. Keep it going. I got Arizona, obviously. That's just a walk in the park. Seton Hall, TCU is a really good matchup, but TCU is playing better ball right now. So give me TCU in that one in a close game. Another upset alert with Houston. If I was picking upset heavy, I wouldn't do it, but I'm going with Houston just barely. And I'm also going with Illinois there, who also could be on upset alert. And now I got some breaking news. You didn't hear it from me, but Devontae Jones, a lot of rumors that he did not travel with Michigan and he will not play on Thursday. So because of that, I don't trust Michigan's depth, and I'm going with Colorado State in the first round. If that rumor is true, but it seems like there's some legs to it. It seems like, unfortunately, it is true. So I'm going with the Rams. I'm going with Tennessee over Longwood. And then Ohio State Loyola. I've gone back and forth with this all week, but I'm going with Sister Jean. Whenever you're in doubt,
Never
always go with Sister Jean.
bet against Sister Jean.
Right. You got to go with Loyola there. They always win in the first round. And then Villanova should easily get past Delaware. So back to the top, Arizona, TCU. TCU could present some problems, but Arizona's talent will be the difference in the end. And I got Arizona moving on. Houston, Illinois. Easily Illinois in that one. Houston, if they were healthy, I think would beat them. But unfortunately, they're not. They don't have their best player. So I'm going with Illinois. Colorado State and Tennessee. I think Michigan, when healthy, is better than Colorado State. And I did not have them beating Tennessee. So obviously, I'm going with Tennessee. They're playing good enough to be a 1 seed right now. They are a scary team. So they're moving on. And then Loyola, as much as I want to do it again, I just don't think that magic is going to be there for a third time for them. So I think Villanova gets past them. They just play similar basketball to Loyola, but they do it a little better. Another chalk region. I know I'm being boring here at the top, but I'm going to have Arizona get past Illinois. They already beat them at Illinois, and I think they'll do it again. Illinois, they don't make deep runs in March. We know who they are. So they'll falter there. And I think Tennessee is going to easily beat Villanova. I just think they are clearly better than them right now, and should have been seated higher than them. So now you have Arizona and Tennessee And I think Arizona can edge out Tennessee there in the Elite Eight and move to the Final Four. But that'll be a great game.
Moving down here to the East, Ty. Let's see who you got coming out on top.
Yeah, I'm definitely going with Baylor, obviously. And then you got to go with North Carolina, despite that loss they just had, playing a lot better than Marquette. And it's Shaka in the tournament. Never goes well since he was at VCU. St. Mary's, Indiana. I am really high on Indiana in this tournament. I'm going with the Hoosiers there in the upset. If they lose that game, all my brackets are kind of screwed. So I'm going with the Hoosiers and praying on that one. UCLA should get past. The MAC is dangerous, but Akron was the fourth best team in the conference at best. So you got to go with the Bruins, especially with their experience. This was another tough one. Texas, Virginia Tech. Unlike a lot of people, I'm going with Texas in this one. I am not going with the upset. I think Texas, they were almost top 5 in the preseason. I think they match up well and they'll move on. Purdue, obviously, got to go with them. I don't think they lose in the first round again. Murray State, San Francisco. Might as well just flip a coin on this one, but I like Murray State. They're 30-2 or something like that. So gotta ride with them. And they'll play Kentucky there in the second round. All right, so Baylor, North Carolina. In my upset brackets, I'm thinking of pulling the trigger, but I can't do it here. I gotta go with Baylor over Carolina. They still have way too much talent, even with their injuries. Indiana, UCLA. Give me the Hoosiers in a big upset here. People don't realize that they were without Rob Finney and Trey Galloway. They're both back now. That's why they made the run in the Big Ten tournament. So I think they beat UCLA in a huge upset. Purdue should get past Texas. Too much for them. Too much size down low. Texas doesn't really have a true center. And then Kentucky should easily beat Murray State. Great season for them, but I don't think they keep up with Kentucky. So you have Baylor and Indiana. As much as I want to do it here, I think Baylor moves on and Indiana's magic runs out. And then I think Kentucky, way too much for Purdue. They have Oscar Tshiebwe to match the big guys. And so we got another 1 seed in the Elite Eight, but this one is going to lose for me. I have Kentucky getting past injured Baylor. I think if Baylor was healthy, they're the better team, but unfortunately they're not. So give me the Wildcats.
And let's see who in the Midwest you're taking to be the last team in the Final Four.
Yeah, we're going to have a little more fun here. I'm going with Kansas and then San Diego State over Creighton, who is playing without their star point guard. Another one here. If Richmond beats Iowa, I'm screwed because I have Iowa, and you're going to see I really like Iowa. Providence is going down. This is my big upset. I always pick one of them. I'm going with the Jackrabbits. And I heard they are the best three-point shooting team in the entire country. And Providence just got blown out by that injured Creighton team I just talked about. So going with South Dakota State, a 30-win team. LSU just fired their coach. And even if they didn't, I would probably go with Iowa State here. So obviously I'm going to do it now. Give me the Cyclones, the turnaround team this year, moving on. I think Wisconsin could be on upset alert, but I think they'll move on. They have Johnny Davis, so that'll be enough for them. USC, we've known all year they are frauds, and Miami showed up in the ACC tournament. So give me Miami moving on, and they'll play Auburn, obviously getting past a team that didn't even win their conference tournament. Kansas, San Diego State. San Diego State could give them problems, but way too much talent for Kansas. So Jayhawks move on. And then Iowa should get past South Dakota State. South Dakota State shoots the three very well, but so does Iowa, so they can match it. And they have Keegan Murray. But I'm going with an upset down here. I'm going with Iowa State to shock Wisconsin and move to the Sweet 16. I'm not very high on Wisconsin going into this tournament. It's basically Johnny Davis or nothing. And we saw against Michigan State, he did not perform at all, going 3 for 17. It's like Iowa State there. I think Auburn just barely scrapes past Miami. Another team I'm not super high on. Kansas and Iowa. I'm going with my 1 seed upset here. I'm going with the Hawkeyes to beat Kansas. I think it's going to be one of those, both teams in the 90s, maybe one scores 100. Crazy offense game, and Iowa loves those games. So give me them. And then Auburn, another easy game for them. They should get past Iowa State. This one I've gone back and forth on all week. Another one of these tough picks, but I'm going with Iowa. They are just a buzzsaw right now, and I think they get past Auburn and go to the Final Four.
And in your final four, let's see who Ty is going to take to win it all.
I've been on Kentucky all year, but I'm going with Gonzaga in this matchup. I just think Kentucky, it seems like they have off nights too often for them to win 6 games in a row. So I'm going with Gonzaga. I think it might be their year finally. And I think Arizona, way too much for Iowa. Yeah, just too much talent across the board, too much size, especially for Iowa's suspect bigs. So I have Gonzaga and Arizona, just kind of a chalky championship. And I'm going with Gonzaga. I think the teacher beats the student as Arizona's head coach, former assistant under Mark Few. And I'm going to say it's going to be high scoring. Let's go 87-80.
And there it is for Ty's bracket. Make sure if you want to compete against Ty and think you got a better bracket, join our bracket group. The link is going to be in the description below. But now let's get into my bracket. And for my bracket, we're going to start it off here in the West. Obviously, you got to go with Gonzaga. The 8-9 matchup, I'm going to go with the Broncos and Boise State to get their first ever tournament victory. You mentioned it. Both these teams are on upset alert, but I'm liking UConn to win. And I think this is a huge coin flip game, but I was high on the must bust. I took them to win it all. So I got to go with Arkansas here. Alabama will lose to Rutgers, but they will beat Notre Dame. And I think Rutgers will win tonight. So we'll go with Rutgers to upset Alabama. Texas Tech will easily move on against Montana State. Michigan State and Davidson, the curse of Foster's lawyer is going to come to the hands of Michigan State. Old school, old captain. He's going to get revenge on him in the tournament. Duke will have no problem with Cal State Fullerton. Back up to the top, we got Gonzaga moving on over Boise State. Should be a good game, but I think Gonzaga will pull away late. Arkansas will beat UConn. Must bust going to the Sweet 16 yet again. Texas Tech will have no problem with Rutgers. And this Davidson-Duke matchup is a very interesting matchup, as it could go either way. But I don't think Coach K is losing to a mid-major team in his last career game. So give me Duke. And then, we do have the same matchups here in the Sweet 16. I am going to go with Gonzaga to the Elite Eight. Texas Tech is going to beat Duke in the Sweet 16. So give me Texas Tech. They're going to eliminate them. And give me Texas Tech to the Final Four as well. I think Gonzaga is a team that, we've seen them falter all the time in the tournament. They still haven't got it done. I know they've reached the championship twice and haven't won it all, but this year they're not even getting to the Final Four. South region, we're going to start with Arizona in a big win. TCU, they're hot, so give me them. Houston squeaks by UAB. I think that's going to be a very interesting game. Could be an upset. And Illinois squeaks by Chattanooga as well. Kofi Coburn's size. It's hard to guard, but they also have size. Chattanooga is a very tall team. They can match up well, but I think just the talent level and competition level Illinois has played against will get them by. I'm still going to take Michigan in the bias pick because I feel like it's disrespectful if I don't take them. I think they're better without Jones anyways. Kobe Buffkin's going to have a great game. He's due. Tennessee is going to beat Longwood. Not really a upset brewing there. Loyola, can't bet against Sister Jean, and Villanova to round out my round of 64. Back up to the top, we're going to go with Arizona over TCU. I think it'll be a closer game than people think. Houston will pull off the upset against Illinois. It really isn't that big of an upset, but I think Houston will get to the Sweet 16 without Sasser. Tennessee will absolutely wipe the floor with Michigan. I think that could be a 20 to 30 point win for Tennessee. And Villanova will beat Loyola. His Sister Jean doesn't reach the Sweet 16, but we are going to have Houston lose to Arizona. Arizona, just a very hot team right now. It's tough to bet against them. I think their ceiling is a championship, and I really can't see them not getting even to the Elite Eight, as they have a fairly easy bracket and an easy road there. And this Tennessee Villanova has probably been the hardest matchup for me to pick in this year's tournament. I really could see this going either way. So in this bracket, we're going to go with Tennessee to move on. And we're going to go with Arizona, the first one seed to go to the Final Four. But I think Tennessee or Villanova would be the team to halt Arizona from going to that Final Four. In the East, obviously we have Baylor moving on. North Carolina will squeak out a win against Marquette. But Marquette, a team that really has fallen off as we've kind of not heard about them for the last month and a half. but they did still get here, and props to them. St. Mary's will beat Indiana. I do think Indiana is a great team, but I'm just very high on the Gales this year. You know, it's really rare to see another West Coast Conference team other than Gonzaga, a 5 seed or higher. So that speaks highly of them. UCLA will beat Akron. Don't really have a huge problem there. Akron should, probably get blown up by 20. Virginia Tech in the upset over Texas. My preseason pick for the national championship goes down. Texas really hasn't shown it to me this year. I'm not confident at all. And it seems like every year there's a surprise, Power Five conference winner. And that team gets hot at the right time and they go into the tournament and then win at least one game. And that's going to be Virginia Tech. Purdue will get by Yale. That game is probably going to be a single digit victory, in my opinion. For Purdue, I think every year the Ivy League, whoever they play, it's always a competitive game. I don't know how it happens, but for some reason it's always 10 points or less. Murray State, you got to go with a 30-win team here. They're doing something right this year. And Kentucky rounds out my round of 64. Now here's where things get interesting. We're going with North Carolina over Baylor. Baycott is going to dominate. And, since I'm still not going to say his name right, Chachachua. I say it right?
Pretty
Close. I'm getting there. Since he's been out, Baylor has lacked size-wise, and I think this is where North Carolina is going to match up well against them. It'll be roughly in the 60s score game. North Carolina is going to grind that one out. St. Mary's is going to upset UCLA. Not very high in the Bruins this year. Really, the Pac-12 has been kind of overrated, in my opinion, besides Arizona. Virginia Tech is going to beat Purdue. We are going to have our first double-digit seed to the Sweet 16. Purdue, if Jaden Ivey doesn't show up, they are non-existent because he is what keeps this team together. They should have beat Iowa, but unfortunately faltered late. And I think that's kind of something that concerns me, especially tournament time for this Purdue team. And Murray State and Kentucky, well, I want to go Murray State here. That'd be awkward if they lose to another, mid-major team. But Kentucky has something brewing this year, and it seems like they're on a run for the championship. North Carolina, St. Mary's. We're going with St. Mary's. We're going with the Gales to the Elite Eight. Very surprising pick. I know it's not a popular pick for sure, but it's definitely one I could see happening. And Kentucky is going to beat Virginia Tech. They're going to end the magical run for them, for the Hokies. So I have St. Mary's and Kentucky in the Elite Eight. And give me Kentucky. The Wildcats are on a path, just a crash course for that Final Four. Midwest, we have Kansas, obviously winning that game. I have Creighton beating San Diego State. That game is just another coin flip game yet again. So you really got a 50-50 shot here. So pretty much good luck. Iowa and Richmond. Iowa will move on. I think Keegan Murray dominates. I have to pick against my Friars here. They did win me money this year, but they're not going to win me money in this tournament. South Dakota State, best three-point shooting team, loves to score. Providence doesn't match up well. If they have a bad shooting night, there's no shot. Their defense is non-existent. So give me the Jackrabbits. The Tigers and LSU will move on even without Will Wade. I just think Iowa State is a huge fraud team. We talked about it early in the season, how they only had 2 wins last year. Since they hit 15 wins, they've kind of just coasted to where they are. So I don't like that going in the tournament. Colgate is going to pull off the upset over Wisconsin. Johnny Davis does not show up in this game, and Colgate moves on. Miami moves on, another fraud team. They're beating USC, and I've just, we were high on them early, and then once they played good teams in the Pac-12, they automatically would lose. I think they beat UCLA, was their only big win in conference. And Jacksonville State is going to be last year's Oral Roberts.
Whoa.
We are going with the team that didn't even win their conference tournament to get in. They're a very high-scoring team, love to push the pace, and that's not a good thing for Auburn because they like to keep it low-scoring. They don't really blow teams out. That stretch in February where they kept things close, won games by 1 point, 2 point, I think that's going to haunt them here in the tournament, and Jacksonville State's going to move on. But back at the top, of course, we have Kansas moving on. Got to get to the Sweet 16 at least when you're the 1 seed. Iowa will get – nope, they're not. Jackrabbits are moving on. I think this is a great matchup here. Probably the best matchup in the round of 32, at least if you love scoring. Probably an 80, 90-point game for each team. But the Jackrabbits are going to win this one at the buzzer. And LSU and Colgate, well, we might as well get crazy here. 14 seed plays the 15 seed in the Sweet 16. And that's just a matchup that probably no one is ever going to pick except me. So you better come back and congratulate me when that happens. Then we got Kansas and South Dakota State. We'll go with the Jackrabbits to the Elite Eight. You know, we're getting crazy here. It seems like this is the year where something crazy would happen because there's no really consistent, really good team. And we're going to go with Colgate to move past Jacksonville State. So you have a 13 and a 14 seed in the Elite Eight, something I don't think anybody is picking, but we are going to go with the Jackrabbits because this team is on a, they're just on a tear right now. And I think that 30 wins isn't a joke in a conference that, they've been really competitive in. A 1, 2, 3 seed and a 13 seed. But we're going to have Texas Tech, Kentucky. Texas Tech will move on. I know it's a blue blood game, essentially. I know Texas Tech isn't a blue blood, but it seems like it's going to be one of those games. Texas Tech, with the first-year coach, I just think it's going to be a magical run for them. Something Chris Beard couldn't do is get Texas Tech here. And Arizona is going to end the Jackrabbits' magical run to the Final Four. But I'm not going with the popular pick in Arizona. I'm going with the Red Raiders and Texas Tech to be my national champion. With great defense, it seems like they can easily get to the Final Four, especially in that bracket, as you can see here. I think the toughest task would be Gonzaga, and if they can get past that hurdle, there's no doubt in my mind that they can win the national championship. So give me the Red Raiders to take home big dance. But that's going to be it for the video today. If you liked it, hit that like button below, subscribe to our channel, get us to 100 subscribers for doing that giveaway. But until the next time, the Bench Buddies are out.
She never called back.